time is it? Do you have the time? 8:58, great. There are very few of you right now. That doesn't look like 32 people. Good morning, everyone. If you wouldn't mind taking your seats, we have another chock-a-block day today, so great to have everyone in place. Grab the coffee. Wonderful. So thank you so much for coming. You're all most welcome, of course. Day 2 of the Aspen Security Forum on the Potomac. I'm delighted now to welcome to the stage the President and CEO of the Aspen Institute, Mr. Dan Porterfield. Thank you.
Thank you, Neve, and welcome to all of you. We're so proud at the Aspen Institute for the decades of leadership of the Aspen Strategy Group and the way that the Aspen Strategy Group connects with so many important leaders, thinkers, industries, government officials, countries, and of course works throughout the Institute as a whole. It's our pleasure to welcome you this morning to the second day of our 12th annual Aspen Security Forum and the first in-person forum since 2019. And it's great for all of us to be back in person, safe, thanks to a tremendous effort by our staff and live for the first time in Washington, D.C. Please join me in thanking and acknowledging our co-chairs, Joe Nye and Condoleezza Rice, who made everything possible. Thank you, Professor Nye. I think you may be here somewhere. Also, we're very deeply appreciative of an incredibly dedicated staff led by Nick Burns and Anja Manuel, Neve King, John Hogan, Leah Batunis, Deb Cunningham, Emily Lawrence, Kathleen Shea, Maya Rosales, Marco Mrvovic, all of whom together made it possible for us to have this first major convening of the Institute in DC in now almost 20 months. We're also very deeply appreciative of our trustees who have been supportive of this work. Jane Harmon was here yesterday, Madeleine Albright, Dave McCormick, Thelma Duggan, and many others have been leaders in global security and deeply committed to the Aspen method of bringing people together for inclusive convenings that drive change towards a more free, just, and democratic world. Thank you also to NBC News, who we are partnering with for the 5th consecutive year. As you may have seen, last week we were so proud to announce that we are deepening our partnership with NBC. In the coming years, NBC will be our exclusive media partner for our annual Aspen Ideas Festival in Aspen, Colorado, which will be back live again this June. Many thanks to all colleagues from NBC who are here. Now, this forum was also made possible because of generous support from a number of sponsors, including MasterCard, McKinsey, Microsoft, the MITRE Corporation, Raytheon Technologies, Rockefeller Foundation, American Airlines, Capgemini, Healthcare Distribution Alliance, Intel, Pharma, Rebellion Defense, and WhatsApp. Thank you all so much to our sponsors. A word about this convening. It's a moment to have a resolute, nonpartisan forum for inclusive dialogue on the most pressing national security and foreign policy challenges of our time. And there are many, and they are changing. Clearly, the most sophisticated thinking about security now requires engagement with and an understanding of areas like public health, technology, economics, finance, and even some of those old liberal arts standbys, history, philosophy, culture, political theory. That's why the Aspen Institute is such an ideal home for the Aspen Security Forum and for the Aspen Strategy Group, because we work at the crossroads where left and right meet center, where public and private sectors meet civil society, where science and social science meet humanism, where domestic and international policy come together, meet stability, security, opportunity, where tradition and disruption meet progress, and where idealism and realism meet diplomacy and aspiration. In that spirit, we're so pleased to have co-produced 2 of the sessions this year in the forum with other Institute programs that are doing phenomenal work around the country and around the world. Our Health, Medicine, and Security program, which will co-produce a segment on vaccines and national security, and our Aspen Economic Strategy Group, which is co-producing a session on the COVID-19 recovery, the global economy, and the future of globalization. These collaborations speak volumes about the breadth of our reach as an institute and how these intersections give us the opportunity to leverage our collective expertise in these complex times. We're also so delighted to be hearing during this conference from the Aspen Strategy Group's newest program, our Rising Leaders Program, which is a new initiative that focuses on the next generation of leaders in international affairs and security, a critical priority for the Aspen Institute as a whole. I had the pleasure of meeting this group last year, our inaugural group, and had a chance to teach some of them at earlier stages of my work at Georgetown University. I'm so impressed with the talent of the group that's been assembled. I know they are prepared to drive change through dialogue, leadership, and action, and they represent the future of our country and this world in so many ways. Thank you all for joining us. I'm now very pleased to turn the mic to Anja Manuel, who will begin today's program and has been an outstanding leader for the Aspen Institute and, of course, for our country. Anja?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. We had an extraordinary day yesterday and set out to do exactly what we wanted to do, which is to learn from each other in a bipartisan, nonpartisan, open way. I just want to recap a little bit of what we heard. We heard a few warnings. General Milley cautioned us that we are entering a 3-power world with China, Russia, and the United States, plus unpredictable new technologies, making it more strategically unstable. Secretary Rice reminded us that while the US military is still the strongest military in the world on the human capital side, China and others are planning to test us asymmetrically. So we better get going and do that defense modernization that everyone keeps talking about. Chairman Schiff and Chairman Reed from the US Congress both discussed everything from climate change to cybersecurity to the likely difficulty of concluding a new, stronger nuclear pact with Iran. And we heard from Gail Smith, Gary Edson, and others about the COVID pandemic. And importantly, I think they pointed out that this should be seen as a national security threat. Anytime you have 5 million people dead and the world economy shut down, it's something we need to continue to take extraordinarily seriously. And we heard some very important, hopeful notes. I was particularly encouraged by Secretary Kerry, who beamed in from Glasgow late at night for him to tell us about his notes of optimism. First, the fact that the entire G20 committed to stop financing coal plants outside their borders, that there were excellent discussions on stopping deforestation, including in the Congo and elsewhere. General Nakasone told us how much there's been an improvement in the collaboration between the NSA, Cyber Command, FBI, and the private sector to help stop cyber attacks on our shores, including election interference. And the Defense Minister of Singapore reminded us how important the United States is to the Indo-Pacific, both in a security sense, yes, but that he hopes that we'll come in and remain extraordinarily engaged economically. Today, we're going to continue those discussions with a really fantastic program for all of you. First, and I'll introduce him in a minute, we're going to hear from the Secretary of the Navy, Del Toro. We will then go on to discuss American democracy with Arthur Brooks and Amy Walter, because the divisions between us, of course, can't stand if we want to be secure in the world. We will then hear from multiple members of Congress, from Senator Sass, and the head of the Special Operations Command, and finally from Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. So we have a great program lined up for you today, and we look forward to engaging with all of you, both in the program and outside in the hallways and during breaks and at lunch. Now I have the great pleasure to introduce Secretary of the Navy Carlos Del Toro. He was sworn in on August 9th, 2021. I hear backstage that he's just back from a trip to the Indo-Pacific, still a little jet lagged, so we're particularly grateful to you for being with us today. And as Secretary, he's responsible for over 900,000 sailors, Marines, reservists, and civilian personnel. So this is an extraordinary job, and we're glad that he's here with us today. To interview him, we have Kevin Barron, who of course is the founding Executive Director of Defense One and a great watcher of this space. Kevin, Secretary Del Toro, please come up. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, and good morning, everyone. Oh, come on. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Wow. I mean, he's jet lagged. What's your excuse? I wish I were jet lagged. Welcome, Secretary of the Navy Del Toro. And I think for a lot of us, this really is a welcome.